Hello, coffee people. My name is Irina Sharipova, and I'm coffee educator and consultant. Welcome to my podcast, Coffee Business in the Middle East, where we discuss everything related to the coffee business in this region. I speak with coffee shop owners, green coffee traders, and coffee professionals. In the new season, in my first episode, I speak with Daria Vorslova about sea markets, about green coffee trading, and what it's like to be a certified coffee judge. Please enjoy. Hello, Daria. How are you?
Hi, Irina. I'm very well.
Thank you for coming for the Coffee Business in the Middle East podcast. And we're going to speak a lot about hot topics and business of the coffee industry here. And first of all, of course, I want to know a little bit about your background. Of course, I know you personally, and I want our listeners to know about your background and what is your position nowadays.
Thank you for inviting, Irina. I'm really pleased. About my background, so I work in the coffee industry all my life, starting with 19 years old when I was a barista. So far it's 18 years. I was working for a long time, around 8 years in the hospitality sector as a barista, two barista, trainer barista, manager, and then I changed the segment. I started to work in green coffee sector. I was invited to be a quality person in one of the biggest green coffee importer in Russia. Mm-hmm. So I spent there 7 years being a quality manager. Then I was promoted to product manager, and I really can say that I grew as a professional there because I was responsible for so many things first of all, quality control, first 3 years, but then purchasing coffee, selling coffee, sourcing coffee, doing different educational events, promotional events. I was also involved in marketing, in building relationship with the customers, everything. And it was tough, but it was challenging, but it was really, really interesting journey for me. And then I quit and started my own consultancy in Moscow, but the life turned out the way I had to move from Russia, and I moved here in the UAE, and it was 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. We came at the same time, I remember. So I joined Ali Coffee team, a global green coffee supplier, as a sales manager, and I'm still work there as a sales manager, and also trying to do some other stuff training courses, some collaboration trainings, maybe consultancy. So trying to engage and try to develop the local market as well.
Nice, that sounds impressive. 18 years in coffee industry, it's fantastic, and we have sort of similar background because we grew up as professionals in Russia. Mm-hmm. But we will speak mostly about green coffee because for most of the coffee people, it's still like a hidden forest. Yeah. No one knows what's happening, why there's this price exactly, and I know that you're responsible for coffee purchases and coffee supply for this roasteries here in the Middle East. And I want to know, what does a typical day look for you? So you as a coffee trader, what does it mean, first of all?
Okay.
Yeah, so can you explain more?
Yeah. I know that indeed, baristas, of course, and people who open coffee shop, even roasters, they they are not much into the green coffee segment and sea market, and they have really not really exact understanding about the market, which is totally fine. But the thing is, especially now, this situation on the market affects all the all the coffee roasters and coffee shops and the whole industry in general. That's why I think it's super important just to please try to understand how it works and what's going to be in the 2-3 months and in a year, right? So I actually don't purchase coffee in Ali Coffee. I'm not responsible for this. We have a sourcing department who does this stuff. But of course, as a local representative and a person who understands the market, I usually I'm like in direct communication with them to explain okay, what coffee we need for the local market, what prices, what grades, what tasting profiles. Of course, we're trying to develop a particular range of green coffee beans for the local market, and of course it takes time because you usually take a purchasing decision, you bring coffee, and then you just see, you watch what coffee goes well, what coffee doesn't go well. So next year you choose not to bring this coffee, but you will try to bring something different. And in this case, the super important thing is transparent communication with the roasters, which is super hard for the local market somehow. So my usual day, I mean, it's super boring actually. I mean, I just check my emails. I really often have some meetings with the customers. I also involve in release processes for the customers. So I'm kind of this upfront person to communicate with the coffee roasters, to find new customers or to maintain relationship with the current customers, sending them samples, pushing my team to make a release. I also communicate with the MCC who stores our coffee, who are our main partners on the local market. So it's usually really, I don't know, I usually work from home, and it's either in front of my computer, or I go to the meeting, or I do some copying. So nothing really, I don't know, exciting about my job, about my daily routine.
Yeah. Okay. So this is sort of daily routine. But if we speak about market and sort of purchasing power here, and what differs Middle East from other regions, how they buy coffee. So we have, because you have deeper understanding within this 2.5 years in Dubai, especially. So you work with different countries, as far as I know, not necessarily UAE. So can you tell more about what's happening? If you're a roaster, because mostly you work with roasters, right?
Yes.
So what is this process behind?
Okay.
Because again, green beans trading is not
Something
clear.
Not really clear.
Can you give more details?
Yeah, so let's make this podcast the most efficient for your listeners, and I hope coffee roasters will be among them. So there's usually two types of purchasing coffee, right? This is on spot position, when some particular coffee is already at the warehouse on the spots. And people, they just...
Spots, what do you mean by that?
The coffee physically is already here.
Here in Dubai?
Yes.
Okay.
So people just reach me out and they were I want to try samples of this coffee, I want to buy this coffee, or I want to cup this coffee. And then, it's easy. Coffee is here, they can try it and they can buy it. I mean, always price negotiation as a part of the process as well. Simple. We also have a spot position in Hamburg, in UK, in Sydney, and all around US market and Singapore. But for local markets, we usually store our coffee in GMCC, only in GMCC. And there's also another way to purchase coffee. If it's big volumes, if you're ready to buy a container or half a container, it can be a direct shipment from origin, Brazil, Colombia, I don't know, Central America, Guatemala, any Ethiopia, right? So in this case, it usually takes time. It takes 2-3 months to get this coffee, because of course, we make a contract, and then we require what documents we need to this particular customers. They're not usually in the UAE, they can be in Oman, in Saudi, in Qatar, in Bahrain. So we can ship to different kind of ports. And we usually arrange booking line. We prepare documentation, and it usually takes 2 weeks, a month to put a cargo on the vessel, and then another 40 days if it's like Brazil, Central America. If it's Ethiopia, of course, it's like 2 weeks. I mean, it depends, of course, because of the distance is different.
Okay.
So in general, like with all the communication on the email, it takes realistically 2.5, 3 months. So it's not like immediate. If you like need the coffee immediately, it's not the method to purchase your coffee. You like in general, if you're like a big company, you need big volumes, and this is like for big companies, it's a really problem to ensure that you have a coffee on your house, right? Because if you are like out of stock and you cannot supply your customers, you're done, right? This is a big failure. You're losing your customers. You cannot. You should ensure that you have a supply. That's why it's like really important in green coffee sector. Planning your purchasing. This is like super important, and it's a kind of important for like coffee roasters and for us as well. Because if we don't know what they need in terms of volumes, origins, qualities, grades, we don't know what to bring on the local market as well. So that's why I usually try to engage like transparent communication, like how many bags of coffee for like the next season you will need. Because in like our segment, we think like yearly, right? Like the whole, like for us, depends on like, okay, in each origin there can be like one harvest season or several harvest seasons. Usually it's like one harvest season. So we usually like think in the perspective of a year.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very interesting because forecasting is very important for roasters.
Absolutely.
So it means that if you're a small roastery, there is no point to buy direct rate.
Yeah,
am I right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, for local markets, I know that people can, if they want some micro lot expensive, and they're ready to pay for air freight, and they can like bring a pallet of coffee from Panama Geisha. I mean, for local market, it's possible. For Russian market, you know, this is impossible, right? Because the customs rules, it's like a nightmare. It's like it's super hard. You cannot be a coffee roaster and bring coffee directly. You need a coffee importer who will do for you all this job.
Here in UAE, so for example, if I have my own company or even as an individual, so I can buy coffee like a pellet or a bag just easily?
I have no idea, honestly speaking, if you're like, as an individual you can buy it. As a company you can do it.
So for example, a bag of Panama Geisha, like super expensive coffee?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but...
And it doesn't take lots of time, like
if it's gonna
with
be
the container?
I mean, usually it's air freight, so by plane. You're gonna bring coffee by plane.
Yeah.
Like if it's gonna be sea freight, it's challenging because you need to consolidate with some exporter. I mean, it's not that easy. Not all the green coffee exporter importers go on.
Yeah, interesting.
It's a lot of headache.
Yeah, it is. And you help roasters here to consolidate the orders, or they normally buy from spot, or it's half-half? What is the situation?
I mean, I have customers who buy directly from origins. I have customers who buy on spot.
Yeah, so you work with all of this, and you help with documentation and for releasing.
Yeah.
Nice, interesting. And what is this? Some emerging trends for coffee consumption here in Middle East? Do you see how maybe the trends are being changed within these 2 years, or there is like a particular flavor profile or a particular trend what is happening right now?
Okay, yeah. I mean, of course, for me when I came here, it was like the difference between Russian market and local market was like huge, right? I think you know that. In Russian market, really like washed coffee. Here, people, they don't like washed coffee like at all, right? They just don't buy it. So they usually prefer natural coffee, which is sweeter, which has like less acidity, which is good for espresso, and of course an aerobic natural, like super fermented, funky stuff. but like in Russia, we also like this anaerobic natural, but it's different.
Yeah.
Because in Russia, it's usually super sour. That reminds you, and like some maybe note of alcohol, like a rum, cognac, whiskey, wine.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sour. For local market, they want a funky coffee, but more about like spicy, tropical fruits on a more sweeter side, bitter side. So I would say that the profile, the preference is more like on the bitter sweet side, spicy, sweet. They don't like acidity in coffee at all. And I can see it starting from when I came here, and this trend is still here. Like people, they just prefer natural and anaerobic natural coffee. But around like a year ago, maybe, I saw the trend that people start to consume more and purchase more infused coffee.
Yeah, that's my next question. What is your opinion about infused coffee? Because we have a debate normally. What do you think about this? And let's remind our listeners what infused coffee is.
Well, so I think anaerobic natural coffee and infused coffee is so popular on the local market because they also like this, intense coffee. Intense coffee in terms of like flavors, aromas, right? Complex, intense, and as a product, infused coffee, I have nothing against it. But when infused coffee is sold as something else, I don't think it's kind of a good strategy for the market, just not telling what's like inside. I'm totally fine if people buy and sell infused coffee, but they say, okay, this is infused coffee. This was a coffee with we added some fruits, we added some yeast, we added some additional flavors to get the strawberry or this, I don't know, tropical fruits or the spices. It's totally fine. I don't mind having it even in the competition. Each year I usually go to the World Barista competition to judge, and there is infused coffee. Yeah, participants and baristas, they are using infused coffee. But the difference is how coffee is done and how it's communicated, right? Because the nice infused coffee, it's not the coffee that has super intense passion fruit flavor. It's for me, I appreciate as a Q grader and as a certified judge, the infused coffee which works well with the coffee beans. There should be a harmony between coffee beans and between this infusion with these added flavors. Yeah. Because in the end, you can feel the quality of green beans. And if it's not really good, from the one side, not really good in terms of quality and great green coffee.
That will affect too.
And then this super intense, some tropical fruits or spiciness, what's the point? It still doesn't taste good. Yeah. It's just a bad coffee with the taste of spices, that's it.
Yeah, having said that, traceability is important about infused coffee. So my main concern, I'm not against of any product, because there are lots of people who picked up coffee cherries, they processed the coffee, they put lots of effort. Yes, transparency is important, but also my concern is people, if we think about new generation of consumers and even now the current generation of consumers, isn't there this chance that they can lose a sense of pure coffee? What I mean by that, so for example, we have Kenyan washed, we have Ethiopia washed, Yirgachev, Sidamo, whatever. And for most of the consumers, what I hear nowadays, it's weak, it's light, it's too acidic. And in the contrary, when we put infused coffee, for them, oh, wow, it's strawberry, it's rosemary. So it's kind of, makes me think
sad. Yeah,
not sad, it's are we going to lose the pure coffee? What do you think? Do you agree with that, or what's the situation with consumers?
I think infused coffee it's a kind of a good hook to get people in the specialty industry, like cappuccino was, right?
Yeah.
I think once people like get started to know more about the specialty, explore more tastes, more coffees, more like roasting profiles, I think they will just gonna find what kind of flavor they prefer. And infused coffee will be in the past. Like if they're like washed coffee and they really like this acidity and they appreciate this acidity. Or they like
so they
natural
will come back
coffee.
to the roots.
Yeah, I think it's just a like first step to show people like different coffee.
But it's very expensive first step, isn't it?
I mean, like there's like a lot of washed and natural and anaerobic natural, super expensive coffee. Some like rare varieties like geisha, Roma Sudan, Sidra, and they're like beautiful as they are, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but you need like a sensory experience. You need to develop your palate in order to enjoy this kind of tastes. And I think infused was kind of like a first step for these people to get in the industry. But of course, some of the people, they just, they don't go further. And this is totally fine as well. But we, as the coffee professionals, we should be transparent with them. We should say, okay, this is infused coffee. This coffee with some added flavors. I mean, nothing shameful about it, right? We used to add some flavors in roasted coffee before, right?
Syrups in roasted
like
coffee.
hazelnut, chocolate, and it was fine. Why now people are so like, oh no, we like added something, but we're not gonna say.
Yeah, I think of course, eventually it's all about quality. If it's not too much overwhelming you, I think depends on your sensory preference, personal sensory preferences, and it's a matter of education. So you need to understand anyway pure taste of coffee. It's like in wine industry.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like classy wine, there's natural wine, and there are also debates about between biodynamic wine and natural wine and classic wine. So they also debate. I think it's sort of what we are experiencing right now.
Industry.
That's good. And what about the competition? So barista championship. So you are a certified judge. So can you tell us what was your recent judge experience in
Korea?
In Korea.
Yeah.
So what were the trends?
Oh, this is my favorite
Yes,
topic.
please.
The most favorite trend, it's returning of washed coffee.
Oh.
Like I saw a lot of like washed or like honey, geishas and coffee, and barista were preparing espresso in order to brew, to make, to present like this delicate, elegant, smooth beverage, and it was like super nice. And hopefully it's gonna be more and more popular next competition, and we can see it as a like returning trend on the market. I really want it back. And maybe in the local market we also see a tendency of appearing more washed coffee, at least in filter coffee. I mean, somewhere, please. I really miss it. This is like the first trend. Another like trends which already was like in the past, like making different blends out of coffee. Like not blends. I mean like grinding one kind of bean and another kind of bean, and like making something with your milk beverage or espresso to get a like certain flavor, certain tastes, like tactile experience, balance, etc., etc. It's still there. I also saw, the biggest trend, I think, about milk beverage.
What is the trend?
Because like we have they changed the rules, right? Now we can
plant-based?
Yeah, now everybody can use a plant-based milk. Yeah. But of course it was like 2 years ago, but in Athens they announced the rules like 2 months before the competition, and of course there wasn't really like many competitors who use plant-based milk, because I mean, they train, like, they prepare and rehearse their program, like, I don't know, like 6 months, right? So nobody was risking. But this year, oh my God, this was like, I really recommend to watch, because despite, it's kind of another type of signature beverage now. It's because you can use, like, okay, only 2 ingredients, but the options, the varieties of these ingredients make, like, you can have you have a selection. You can choose whatever you want. Also, and the thing is not only choosing between like cow milk and plant-based milk. It's also you can use different technology to improve your milks. Yeah. Like freeze distilled, like cryodesiccation. Now they like everybody was using this rotary evaporator. So
to
they
remove extra water from milk?
Yeah. So kind of they use it. So you do it under pressure. That's why it's less than 100 degrees, and it doesn't affect the taste of the milk. So like they use different recipe. They tell you about the recipe, how they did its processing, and then like okay, I remove like 10% of water from my cow milk, and then I added 10% of coconut milk to improve the sweetness. So it's super interesting. I like it was, and they like treat it now as a like different kind of signature beverage. Like I want to have like a tropical dessert like milk beverages, and I wanted to like the way they presented to the judges. I mean, they have a different kind of presentation now. It was like super interesting, and I really do hope like this kind of tendency will like appear in coffee shops, like globally, locally. Yeah, because it's like, I think we already have a coffee shop where you can have this competition like experience. Yeah. So it's super cool. And another trend really interesting for like signature beverage. I noticed that now they like starting to discover more like umami flavor in your signature beverage, not only like this bitter.
Wow, it's all about fish taste.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people were adding some savory flavors, taste like umami in their signature beverage. And like the most popular descriptor for signature was sage.
Sage, wow.
Sage, yeah, like many competitors like you will feel their sage, and I was like very often used by the competitors. This is like also super interesting. I'm like curious, okay, how many coffee shops will start, exploring not only this like sweet signature beverage, but also maybe some savory complexity, of course. And it's about the experience. When you drink something, it's like, wow, I have never tried it before. This is like super interesting.
Yeah, it's something to come back for. Yeah, exactly. I think it will be good recommendations to everyone, every barista, every coffee professional to watch competitions, right?
Absolutely.
We have it online. We have YouTube channels. There are lots of barista to follow about like what's happening on the industry, because barista competitions, Brewers Cup, all of the disciplines, they make trends which we can use.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and lots of people like, oh, where to get inspiration from?
Yes. There.
Yes,
of
please
course,
come.
just to watch it.
Yeah, watch it. But again, like even me, when I do trainings for baristas, guys, watch Barista Championships. You will see high service.
Yeah.
You will see how you can present your espresso, milk-based, and you will get the inspiration from signature beverages. Even if you can see the competitions 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's different now. The level now, it's like a rocket science.
Yeah, but even from 5 years ago competitions, you can get some inspiration in terms of signature beverages at least.
Yes.
That will be nice advice. So barista competitions are very important. Are you judging next year?
Of course. Yeah. And finally, they have separated Brewers Cup and Barista. So Brewers Cup will be in Indonesia in May, in Jakarta, and Barista in Milano, in Italy, in October.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
Good
I
luck.
plan to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So interesting. So next important topic for us to understand, of course, the sea market. What is this? Of course, in a nutshell, I know that you have a lecture about it on YouTube, so we can leave a link below.
This is the must.
Yeah, so you explained very well, and I participated in your webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. But in a nutshell, because the situation now is very volatile, because prices increased, what does it mean? Because everyone is discussing coffee is getting expensive.
Yeah.
Can you please tell what sea market is,
Yeah.
and what is the current situation right now, and how it will affect on our price on the coffee?
Yeah.
Please.
So I'm not a trader, first of all, but of course as a person who works in green coffee industry and working closely with coffee traders, and like you must learn something about the market. And yeah, like people here, and not only here, I mean in different locations worldwide, coffee roasters, they just don't understand that price of coffee based on sea market. And they just, like usually how it works, like people think, okay, they like look at this as like going to the grocery store and buying coffee from the shelf.
Yeah.
Right? So you just have a price on the label, you just take it from the shelf and you buy it.
I want to
and
have it
that's
now.
No, in green coffee, it works absolutely different. You might not have this product physically yet, but already can trade it, can have a contract, can have a deal, can buy it, not physically, not making payment, but just have a contract. For example, like usually we buy Brazilian coffee before these cherries appeared on the trees, before it harvested. For example, now the autumn, like this is like the best time to buy Brazilian coffee of next season, which is going to be harvested during summer 2025. Because like in spring, the coffee won't be there. It will be already sold out. This is how it's like so-called future contracts.
Yeah, and we never know what will happen.
And we never know what's happening, exactly. Well, of course, in current situation, I think nobody really buys anything. But yeah, this is usually how it works. And the thing is that it's the price you have for the coffee based on sea market. So we have a coffee exchange. We have an exchange for many things, for many commodities, and for not only commodities, right? For currency, for like different kinds of stuff, right? We have like different exchange for Robusta and different exchange for Arabica. So the exchange for Robusta is placed in London, UK, exchange for Arabica placed in New York, USA. And the indication for Arabica in cents per pound, US cents per pound, for Robusta, dollars per metric ton. So it's kind of different numbers. So for Arabica, it's like 3-digit number, for Robusta, 4-digit number. And how it's usually done. So we have a sea market, and sea market level represents the exchange quality, which is, I mean, exchange have a classification system for green coffee with like different grades, number of defects per like particular certain amount of grams of green coffee. So like this C price is a price for exchange quality. If quality is higher than exchange quality, we have a premium price. So we have some added differential price to the coffee. If price is lower than exchange, we sell coffee with a discount or with a negative differential, minus differential. But anyway, the formula will be C market plus this differential plus freight, depends on the Inca terms. So maybe freight cost, insurance costs, logistic documentation, everything. So this is like the formula for the price for green coffee worldwide. No matter if you know it or you don't know about it, this is how it's traded. And commercial coffee, commodity coffee. For specialty, of course, it's a bit different. And the thing is, sea market price is super volatile. So it's going up and down, it's going up and down, and you cannot predict what's going to be in a month, in a 2 months, in a 6 months. And it's hard, that's why it's challenging. Because now market, it's maximum since like 1974. It's
crazy.
Like crazy, yeah, it's like crazy price. And differentials, like this discount or premium for coffee will be different for different origins, because it actually helps coffee exporters, coffee producers to reflect the cost of production. Because like sea market is the same globally, but of course the cost of production in Brazil much more less than cost of production in Colombia or in Central America like Costa Rica, right? That's why they have like the different differentials for like Brazil, for Colombia, for Central America, for Asia. This is how it works like basically. And why the sea market is super volatile, why it's always moving like up and down? Because this level depends on balance between supply and demand. So if we produce a lot of coffee, which can cover demand and even more, the price goes down. Exactly. If we don't have enough supply and production is lower, but we still have a demand, or we can see a tendency that demand is growing, the price go up. And this is exactly what is happening now, because we haven't, like for the like last 2-3 years, we have this not really positive forecasts regarding the Brazilian harvest. It's going down. So like production is decreasing, and that's why the price is going up. So it started during pandemic 2020, when the price was like around 90 cents per pound, which is also bad for the farmers, for the producers, right? Because they cannot sell the coffee that covers the price of their production. But it's like a different topic. But now, like then, when we started there was a really severe frost in Brazil. Do you remember that? I think everybody remembers, right? And then the price goes from 90 cents per pound to 250 cents per pound for like half a year, and which is affect the market. I remember a situation when, I was working in this Russian green coffee importer, and the price for specialty coffee was lower than price for Brazil Santos.
Oh my God.
And I think there is a company who has the same situation right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because specialty usually bought and sold based on outright price. It's a fixed price. So and now, I mean, it's still happening. We still can see forecasts that's okay, like for the 2024 it was okay. We had some problems with screen size with the big beans, so we have like lesser screens this season. But already starting, we can see the news about the next harvest Brazil, and they're not really good because we can see that it's going to be production going to be down. That's why the market goes up, and we see it worldwide. I mean, not only Brazil is facing decrease in harvest, and of course Brazil, it's a kind of the main origin because they produce 30% of a global coffee. Yeah.
So what to do? What we have now, as far as I understood, Brazil had issue with nature, let's say. Yeah. Also with
weather conditions.
Weather conditions. Regarding demand, coffee demand is growing.
Growing, exactly.
Yeah, it's growing. Yeah. And how we can, what we can do to protect the price, because otherwise it's gonna reach, I don't know, space, or what is this? What to do? Because we work for improve coffee quality and increase consumption. But at the same time, we see, okay, nature factor, and also this conditions, like they don't have enough, how to say, not time, enough power to produce coffee. Like what to do with that? Or
if I would have an answer, I would be a rich person already.
So there is no like right answer, because there is always something with nature. There's always with demand, but demand, we know that it's increasing.
Yeah.
So which means,
you know, like this problem, it's like it's existing problem. It doesn't appear right now. 2 months ago, 1 year ago, right? I remember like in 2018, there's a coffee barometer, and like a lot of people who, you know, speaking about sustainable business, sustainable coffee production, they like was alarming that we gonna have a climate change which affect the coffee production, and in 2050 we're gonna like our production area will decrease. I don't know the exact numbers now, but I mean it was already known in the past, but of course nobody really, you know, paid attention. Everybody has their daily problems they need to solve, right? And what globally we can do against climate change? Of course we can do something, and I'm pretty sure that some of the companies were doing something. But in general, like these tendencies that we have a climate change that affect coffee production, and that we have a growing demand for coffee, it was happening like 10 years ago.
It's like two walls. So we have this demand.
Yeah.
We knew that there is problems with climate change, but we cannot stop consumption because we work for this.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just
we want it, right?
Yeah.
But that's why the prices are so high now.
Yeah. Oof, that's hard.
I mean,
to realize.
I mean, of course, it's super challenging situation, and everybody, like traders and experts, say that we just need to wait until January when we're gonna have more forecast about the harvest in Brazil and Vietnam. So we're gonna see what's going on further. Like, do we still have enough coffee in Brazil, and then prices will go down, or?
Yeah. So who won in this situation right now? So
Nobody.
How to succeed then?
I mean, the best thing you can start, like each of us, is just start to learn about sea markets, about global tendencies happening in the world globally, on the farm side, on the exporter side, on the green importer side, because I think understanding like what is going on in the industry globally will give you like vision, understanding, like the whole picture, right? So you will probably know better what to do as a company in like this particular sector, as a coffee shop, or as a coffee roastery, or as a green coffee importer. I mean, this is like the first thing and the most important thing we can already start doing right now. It doesn't mean you're gonna have like answer tomorrow or in a week, but at least you will start, you know, understanding what's going on. Like, should you buy coffee now, or should you postpone for like a bit?
I see.
What
so it's
you can
deeper,
do.
very deep understanding about coffee industry, and yeah, you're right.
I mean, of course,
Sustainability
the
as well.
thing is, it's always like, okay, can I wait and postpone purchasing coffee right now, or I need it right now? I need to still supply my customers, right, and compromise my margin but deliver coffee to them, or should I increase the prices? And we can see it. Some coffee roasters, like big coffee roasters, they are like increasing prices. What to do?
Yeah, of course, you need to do analysis.
Absolutely.
You need to learn. You need to do study, research. You need to also consume coffee consciously. Yeah.
And I think another thing important to mention here is about like your selling strategy, your strategy as a company, because I can see that so many coffee roasters and coffee shops, they always choose this, you know, strategy that we're gonna offer like the cheapest price on the market. And I mean, in long term, it's not really good strategy. You as a coffee roaster, and coffee shop and any business, you should take a product and create additional value, and it can be specialty coffee, but it can be a commercial coffee with like a really good roasting profile, with some unique coffee blends, with maybe, I don't know, capsules or drip bags or something like, you know, that your coffee customers will like and will appreciate. Not because it's a cheap coffee, but because it's maybe something new, something different in terms of product, in terms of customer service, I don't know, marketing. So like, I mean, in coffee industry, as a business, you should create an additional value to be able to increase the price or to maintain a good price for your customers. For local market, it's hard because of course we have a crazy competition here.
Yeah.
Among green coffee importers, among coffee roasters, among coffee shops. But I mean, pushing prices down, it's not like, because like this situation will probably push many businesses to shut down. Because they cannot afford buying coffee, green coffee or roasted coffee, because they were creating like a really low margins, so they just don't have enough money to continue their business.
Yeah.
Because this situation is going lost with the high prices. It won't finish tomorrow. So, I mean, what we can do, we can learn about the coffee markets, we can learn about the coffee as a product, we can learn about the business, and develop a better strategy, maybe analyze your business, analyze your numbers and change the strategy and like do something in this particular situation. I don't know, I mean, it depends on each particular coffee roaster, their product. Maybe decrease like operational costs and being able to buy more coffee. I mean, each time it depends on each particular case. But learning,
it's important.
It's super important.
Yeah, crucial. Yeah, we see the consequences now. So what would you advise for roasteries right now? So for current roasteries, what to do? And for roasteries who are going to open the business, what will be the strategy for them besides learning market and besides that?
I mean, I really recommend to do a proper analysis of your situation in your business right now, like the numbers, the strategy, and I mean, don't expect that this situation with the sea market and with the prices for the raw bean gonna finish tomorrow. So you need to adjust. That's it. Like, of course, there's still people who are looking for, I don't know, Brazil at $5. It's not there. I'm sorry. Nobody gonna sell. I mean, if some of the green coffee suppliers still have Brazil at $5, it's gonna finish soon. So you have a bit of time, but then you need to do something different. So
long term.
It's a kind of if you don't know how to do it, just ask experienced people how to help you with it, because this is the only way so far.
Ask coffee consultants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for new coffee roasters, I have the best advice.
Please.
If you can, not to open a roastery, not to open.
Yeah.
I mean, the motivation for opening a business in coffee, that should be I don't know, you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about, I want to make it. You should be passionate about coffee. You should be passionate about creating a service. And if you just want to invest and open a kind of business, just invest in property, in something other. Because in general, hospitality business, businesses in hospitality sector and coffee businesses, it's not about having a big profit. It's never about the profit. And it's super challenging business. It's super hard. It's not only about having a beautiful space with a nice design, buying expensive equipment. It's about the product itself. And there's I mean, you can think that I just put a green beans in a very nice roasting machine and I get like roasted beans and that's it. No, like there's like so much information, there's so much chemistry, there's so much information about everything, about how to brew coffee, an espresso, in filter, about how to roast. It's like each particular field, it takes years for people, years to learn how to roast properly, how to brew properly, how to trade coffee. You cannot become an expert in a month, in a year. You need to learn and you need to invest to get this knowledge, to travel, to communicate with people. So, I mean, and of course, like before opening anything, just collect the numbers, do the market analysis. Is it really good idea to open another coffee roastery or coffee shop in such a saturated market?
What do you see as biggest opportunities for growth in the Middle Eastern coffee market then?
For coffee?
Yeah.
I just returned from Saudi. I think this market is big and potentially very interesting. The UAE market, really small, really small and saturated, and it's really challenging to keep going and compete on the local market. But if you want to do it on the local market, UAE market, just look at the company who succeeds. What do they do? How do they do it? How they did achieve it? They're like good example. Or of course, you can go to like another markets like Saudi, like a bigger markets. I mean, in general, Middle East market has a potential, but it's like super risky. We as a green coffee suppliers consider it super risky, and it's a different in terms of culture, tradition, the way people do business. Mm-hmm. It's more about like personal connection. Like you need to build like trustworthy relationship with your coffee roasters, and people here, they're like different.
Yeah.
And this is like a challenging thing, but interesting.
Yeah. It's always interesting to have challenges.
Exactly.
Otherwise it will be boring.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, opportunities are always there, but you just need to seek. It's not like I have a money, I can open a business and it will succeed. No, it won't. You need to learn, you need to study, you need to analyze, you need to communicate with the right people, coffee experts, and then Yeah,
and for your personal growth, do you see Middle East like as a good market for your services, for your
I think because a lot of companies, coffee roasters, green coffee suppliers, coffee shops, who really needs to learn something.
Yeah, exactly. We always need to develop non-stop.
Even me, I mean, it's 18 years in coffee, but
still learning. Yeah, exactly. There is no final.
No.
But there is a final of our podcast. So we need to go to our final thoughts. What would be your advice? Would you leave to our listeners?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just any advice from your side to dive deeper into the coffee markets?
Like coffee market or in coffee industry?
In general, for anyone.
I mean, I think it's about inspiration. You need to find your inspiration, because like I cannot say, I mean, I think people like sometimes they look at me and they like, wow, I mean, such a long way, such a passionate person, how I managed to keep this passion about the coffee, right? It's hard. It wasn't always like this.
I feel you 100%.
Like there were moments where I was about to give up, and you just need to find your inspiration. And it's not about some like profits or earnings. It's something not really materialistic, right? It's something that motivates you, inspires you to keep going, to learn something more, to do something else, to grow professionally, to see opportunities. So, like, I think the good piece of advice is just find your own inspiration, like, to grow professionally, and you will be there. You will be where you dream, like, you will be at the point where you dream to be.
Nice. Sounds very inspirational already. So it was fantastic conversation, and of course we can speak forever.
Yeah, I know.
About coffee, especially about current situations, about different markets, because we travel a lot. We see different people. Also, Dubai is a hub of coffee professionals, not necessarily who live and work here, but also we see there are lots of events. Thank you so much for having time with me.
Thank you for inviting. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. And that was a podcast, Coffee Business in the Middle East. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.